Before we jump into today's build, I want you to look at these two KPI cards. Both of them are fully dynamic. Both of them come from the same DAX, but one is designed for clean summaries and the other is designed for category-based insights. And here's the thing, most people only ever use the default Power BI KPI Visual, flat, stiff, and honestly, a little uninspiring. But your KPIs are the first thing your audience sees. If they look basic, the entire report feels basic, even if the logic behind it is brilliant. So today, I'm going to show you how to design KPIs that feel premium, that guide the eye, that tell a story, and that make your dashboard instantly feel more professional. We are building two versions, the tone-on-tone luxury style and the sidebar split, which is perfect for when you want to separate metrics by category. Both starts with same DAX foundation, but the design completely changes how they are perceived. Let's get into it. Before we paint the visuals, we need to build the brain. If the logic is bad, the design doesn't matter. So let's write our measures together. First, let's create a dummy table so we have numbers. Go to the modeling tab, new table, and I'll have this DAX code pasted in. This script gives us dates and random sales numbers so we can actually see a trend. Hit enter. Now, create a new measure. We never drag new columns onto a visual. We always use measures. So, the first measure we need is total sales. Total sales. Using the sum function, we want to sum up the sales from the sales data. Close the parentheses and enter. Simple enough. This is our main number. To get a trend, we need context. How did we do last year? So let's create a new measure for that. Using this code, we use same period last year to shift our calculation back exactly 12 months. Now press enter. Now, for the year-on-year percentage, most people get this wrong. Create a new measure. And let's have this code pasted in. Notice I'm using the divide function, not the slash symbol. Why? Because if last year's sales is 0, the slash symbol will crash your visual. Divide undo that error safely by returning a 0. So always use the divide function. Press enter. Finally, the most critical step for our design. We need a single measure that combines the arrow icon and the percentage into one text string for a smart peel. So let's create a new measure and have this DAX code pasted in. We are doing two things here. First, we determine if we need an up arrow or down arrow. 2, we use absolute for the number. This prevents that ugly double negative sign. Press enter. Okay, the logic is bulletproof. Now let's make it beautiful. Go to the Insert tab, Shapes, and grab a rounded rectangle. Set its corner radius to 20 pixels. Now pay attention. This is where the magic happens. Don't leave the fill as this. Go to More Colors. We want a very pale off-white burgundy. So I'm going to use this X code. It's subtle, right? It looks almost white, but it has that warm pinkish tint. This is the base of our luxury look. I'm going to turn on the shadow, but don't use the default black. It looks dirty. Change the color to a deep burgundy. Have the opacity lowered to 5% and leave the blur as 20. Why? Because this creates a colored glow rather than a hard shadow. It makes the card feel like it's floating. But I need to have the border turned off. We don't want that blue border there. Now, let's add in values. I'm going to drag my total sales measure in using the new card visual. Let's have this formatted quickly. We need to have the background turned off. So under cards, add the background under card turned off. Add the background turned off as well under the shape option. Then go to the general tab, effect, have this turned off as well. Now let's format this number. Go back to the visual tab, call out value, expand the option for value. We're going to have the format color changed to this. Change the font type to Sego UI bold. Let's have it increased. We're going to do the same for the label. So scroll down to label, have it expanded, change the font color to our usual burgundy, make it bold, and have its size increased. Now we need to have the measure itself formatted to just 2 decimal places. And let's have the label changed to just sales from total sales. Now let's have it sit properly on the card. Now it's time to bring in an icon. I had ChatGBT create one for me earlier. So right under the Insert tab, click the image button. Click the option to add an image to your report. Now under the Image tab, expand the option for style. Then Image. Let's browse for our image and have it picked up. This is what I have ChatGPT created. So I'm going to have that adjusted and have it placed right beside the text like so. And finally on the card, let's have the category label adjusted to just total sales. So I'm going to get rid of the word total. There we go. Now see how cohesive that looks. Dark burgundy on pale burgundy. Now the indicator. Most people try to use a text box here and they spend hours trying to center it manually. We are not doing that. Let's insert a button. Go to the Insert tab, Buttons. We need a blank one. Let's have it placed right under the card. Expand the option for shape and let's give the rectangle a rounded shape. I'm going to make it 50 pixels. It turns into a perfect peel. For the fill, expand the option for style, scroll down to fill, have it turned on, and let's give it a deep burgundy fill. Scroll back up and let's have the text option toggled on. Click the FX function button and we're going to select a year-on-year label, which is right here. Have the font color set to white. Make it bold and increase the font size. Now I need to get rid of the border. You see that gray border we have there? I don't want it. So have the button selected, go back to style and scroll all the way down to border and let's have that turned off. So why use a button? Because buttons have automatic centering properties. No matter how large or small the number gets, it will always stay perfectly centered inside that spill. It's bulletproof. Finally, let's anchor the design. Let's add an area chart. Drag in date and total sales. Strip away the axes and the titles. We want just the shape. I'm going to have the background turned off under the effects option. Have it adjusted like so. We don't want the title as well. So let's have the title turned off. Now let's set the color. We want to give the line color a deep burgundy. So lines, color, and select the deep burgundy. The shade area will be deep burgundy as well. But we want to have the transparency set to 90%. Why 90%? We just want a ghost of the color. If it's too dark, it distracts from the number. Now, we can also add another card for the year-on-year percentage. So I'll have this duplicated and have the total sales replaced with our year-on-year percentage figure. Let's have that formatted to be a percentage. Make the decimal places 0. And we have the text size reduced properly, so it fits into the available space. And finally, Let's make the line design dotted just to make things look a bit better. So we've got different options. It's currently on solid. We could decide to make it dashed. I think that looks way better. And let's have all of these elements selected. Right click and group. That way you're able to freely move it around and resize it however you want. Now that's the first design done. It's perfect for a summary. But what if you need to show specific category? Let's build the sidebar card. We're going to have this one duplicated. So copy and paste the group we just made. Have a rectangle inserted. We're going to make it narrow, like 80 pixels. Have the fill color changed to a burgundy. It's going to be placed on the side here. So let's move things around a bit. I'm going to remove this icon. Have my sales card moved to the right, as well as this button here. Now let's have this shape aligned. Let it sit correctly inside the big card. So I'm going to get rid of the border. It's not needed. So under style, let's have the button for the border toggled all. I'm going to add in another icon generated by ChatGBT for me. So style, image, let's browse to grab that. This time it's going to be the white version of the burgundy one we had. And let's have that sit properly on the left panel. Now, to make this look pro, let's add a vertical label. I'm going to be using a button for that. So let's have a blank button inserted. I'll have it dragged down here. Expand the option for style, and let's have the text toggled on. What do we want the text to be? I'm going to type in revenue. Make the font type Sego UI bold. Give it the font color white. We don't want it to have any background. So under the effect, background is already turned off. Now let's have that moved here. We want it vertical. So go back to the button tab, rotation, and let's set all to 270. So that would affect both the shape and the text. Now let's have the font size increased a bit more. But we just have this adjusted like so. We still need the font size increased. So let's make it 20. And I'm going to have it stretched out like this. We need to get rid of the border. And since we have a vertical layout now, let's swap the area chart for a column chart. Have that adjusted. And let's give the bars a burgundy feel. So under the visual tab, scroll down to columns and let's have the color set to burgundy. And there you have it. Now we have these beautiful cards, but do they actually work? Let's test the interactivity. Go to visuals, grab a slicer and drag in year. I'm going to go with this settings, a vertical list. Now watch what happens when I filter for a specific year. You'll see the total sales figure update instantly to reflect that specific year's data. Now, you might notice that the fill is showing 0. That's because our dummy data script generates data starting from 2023. Since we don't have a 2022 history in the generated file, the calculation correctly returns a 0 result. But this is actually a good thing. It proves our divide measure is working. In a normal card, missing history might cause an error or infinity symbol. Here, the card stays clean, the layout remains stable, and the sales figure updates perfectly. And once you connect this to your real company data with full history, that field will light up with the correct percentage automatically. And here you have it. 2 clean modern KPI designs that go way beyond the default Power BI visual. Same data, same measures, but two different experiences. Now, I want to hear from you. Which one will you use in your dashboard? Design 1, the tone-on-tone premium card, or Design 2, the sidebar plate with the bold accent strip? Your answer actually helps me plan future videos because I want to build full dashboards using whichever style you prefer. Drop your choice in the comments. Just type 1 or 2. And if you want me to create a full dashboard tutorial using the willing design, tell me below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.